In today's episode of the Pathfinder Presents podcast, I got a very interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Shanece Grant, and she's hailing over from the folks over at Gardenpatch. And today we want to talk about all growth and growth strategies, as Shanece and Gardenpatch is actually really much focused in that area. Very pleased to have her on the show. She heads up marketing over there at Gardenpatch. So, Shanece, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Lucas. I'm happy to be here.
Of course, yeah. So maybe give us a quick 360 overview. What is Gardenpatch all about in your own words?
All right, so Gardenpatch is a contract chief growth officer. So we help companies build scalable systems that drive their customers through a wow-worthy buyer and customer journey towards advocacy. So really our mission is to help businesses grow by building a marketing strategy that creates brand advocates and not just one-time customers. So we do this by working with companies to build their dream team, creating processes and systems, and creating content that allows you to share your passion with the world.
That's very straightforward, very clear, makes a lot of sense. Now, who would be the types of organizations, the types of clients you would typically be working with?
All right, so the types of clients we're typically working with are startups. Startups benefit the most from what Gardenpatch does. They're small, they're nimble, and they need to be able to change direction quickly. So that's why they're so well suited to the way that we work. I mean, as a startup, you're constantly looking for ways to cut costs, but you also want to make sure that you're creating a product and content that's going to be top notch and stand out in a crowded marketplace. So startups are the ones that would be, benefit the most from us.
That makes sense. Now, and that I assume then, it's really the founders or maybe the CMOs that are in the startups that are reaching out that you guys are working with directly?
Yes, definitely. We work a lot with like the heads of marketing teams and chief marketing officers and stuff like that. So yeah, you're right about that.
That makes sense. Now, how do these startups learn about you guys? Like, how do they know what Gardenpatch does? What's the journey that they're going through? Maybe tell us a little bit about the client acquisition channels that you guys are leveraging.
All right. So generally, they would get to us through our website, which we're currently relaunching. They find us on search engines on LinkedIn, but mostly, for the most part, our clients get through to us through referrals. So it's usually other clients that refer someone to us.
That makes sense. Now, you were saying you're revamping the website at the moment. Like, what do you think is important for the new website? Now, as a head of marketing, what do you think is key for the page that is going to be launching soon or being updated?
All right. Well, we focus a lot, as you may have gotten so far, on the customer themselves and getting them to be advocates. And all of that really comes back to, a good user experience. So we want our pages to be engaging. We want the user to have a good experience navigating the pages and for them to, spend a lot of time checking out the stuff that we have there. So for that to happen, we have to make sure that these pages are definitely made not just for, ranking on Google, but so that the users have a good experience on it as well.
That makes sense. And is there something that you've learned over the years? What is important for generating that great experience on the websites? Is there any tools, methods, approaches that you've been leveraging in the recent past in order to achieve that?
Yes, definitely. So what we want to do, we want to make sure that the page layout is easy to read, because if you go on a page and everything is all in one, like a big block of text, a lot of users just leave there immediately. And we also want to make sure that the pages are mobile friendly as well, because if it takes too long to load on a mobile device, then you can lose a whole chunk of your audience that way too. So it's really about finding out like how the customers use your website and really tailoring your approach to match up with what they're expecting and what they're looking for.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Now, what I'm curious about is to learn a little bit maybe about your role, right? And what you're doing as a marketer with Gardenpatch. Maybe tell us a little bit about sort of the types of projects you're working on or the types of things that you're doing.
All right, so for the most part, we really work on marketing strategies. So we would get to know the client first and then look into what they're doing with their company, what type of clients they have themselves, and develop like a tailored marketing strategy for that specific group. And through that, we touch on things like, developing buyer personas and also helping clients to really track analytics about what exactly their clients want, how their business is going forward, and what they can do to like retain those customers and leverage those customers for future.
Yep, makes sense. Now, I would love to switch gears a little bit. I mean, we talked a lot about what you guys are doing at Gardenpatch, who you're serving. We definitely know you help those startups to, drive awareness, drive traffic, and drive leads to their pages, and succeed with their pages. Now, I would love to learn a little bit more about your journey as a marketer. I've got some rapid fire questions. Are you ready for those?
Okay.
Very good. So what is the last book you read or the last podcast you listened to?
The last book I read was The Glass Room by Simon Mauer, but currently I'm reading Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erickson. Surrounded by Idiots is really about, checking out different people's personality types and their behaviors and how you can effectively communicate with them based on their different preferences and personality types.
Mm-hmm. And what's one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
One thing our company is focused on the most right now, outside of relaunching our website, is to really help our clients to turn moments of friction into wow-worthy experience for their customers.
If there would be no boundaries in technology, what's the one thing that you would fix for your role as a marketer?
Oh, if there is no boundaries in the technology, one thing I would fix for my role as a marketer, I would find a way to smoothly integrate every single aspect of reporting and analytics into like a bite-sized, understandable chunk so that my entire team can always be on the same page when looking at analytics and data points.
What's the last thing that kept you awake at night about the company?
The last thing that kept me awake at night about the company. Well, as I said, we're pretty much on our way to getting our website back completely launched. So that's really where my focus goes right now. So I would say that would be it, if anything. Just finishing up the pages and making sure that they are perfect for when the website is fully launched.
Very good. And for the very last question, I would like to ask you, if today would be your first day joining the work on Gardenpatch, what's the one advice you would give yourself?
One advice I'd give myself joining Gardenpatch for the first day, I would say keep an eye on what's trending and adjust accordingly, but at the same time, not lose sight of why you're doing what you're doing, because we want to make sure that people know exactly who we are when we put ourselves out there and what they can expect from us while keeping aligned with what people want.
Very cool. Shanece, I really appreciate you took time with us today to be a guest on Pathfund Presents. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about Gardenpatch, what's the one thing that people should remember?
One thing I want people to remember about Gardenpatch is that we are always willing to, tailor an approach to your specific needs, and that, we would be your contract chief growth officer. So if you're looking for exponential growth, if you're looking for customer advocates, if you're looking for word of mouth, which is like the best form of marketing there is, then you would need an approach like what Gardenpatch is offering.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathfund Presents.
Thank you.